Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. There is an old military adage that says, an army marches on its stomach. Even so, many a veteran might grimace at the memories of the freeze-dried pork patties found in their MREs. Although the US military has not always been successful in creating great-tasting food, it has succeeded in inventing foods that travel well and aren't prone to spoilage. Some of the tastiest examples have become staples on American grocery store shelves. Cheetos, ready-to-eat salads and frozen orange juice are all inventions that originated with the military and its various partners within the food industry. Once these corporate food producers saw the appeal of shelf-stable processed goods, they became wildly popular among the public too. According to Anastasia Marx de Salcedo, author of Combat Ready Kitchen, How the US Military Shapes the Way You Eat, the military's contributions are far-reaching. As important as some of these particular items are in terms of transfer from the military to the consumer sector, the really important stuff is the food science that they've developed or funded that's used widely across the industry, Marx de Salcedo says. What most people don't realize, and is sort of chilling, is that the military actually has a mandate to spread its food science this way. It's part of our military preparedness, which comes from World War II. Which means an emphasis on creating food that are like combat rations, imperishable, portable, tasty, enough, and affordable. If that sounds like a snack or convenience food to you, it is. Here are 7 foods the US military helped invent and popularize. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel. Salad kits. The origins of bagged salads begin in the 1950s, when the US Navy was experimenting with ways to maintain the freshness of fruits and vegetables. The Navy was among the industry leaders who used polyethylene bags with controlled oxygen and carbon dioxide levels to delay spoilage. In the 1960s, the Quartermaster Corps, the Army's oldest logistical branch that plays the primary role ensuring soldiers have adequate nutrition, worked with appliance maker Whirlpool to create modified atmospheric containers for bulk shipments of celery and lettuce that were sent to Vietnam. Their successors would one day be in single bags. These products made it to the consumer market by the 1980s and have been incredibly lucrative. In 2005, Chiquita Brands International Incorporated purchased Fresh Express, then the leading packaged salad company that originated from Whirlpool's modified atmospheric container efforts with the military, for the tidy sum of $855 million. Cheetos. The Army's longtime love affair with processed cheese dates back to World War I, when the military placed an order for 6.25 million pounds of white cheese from Kraft. By the next World War, the Quartermaster Corps purchased more than 100 million pounds of cheese and 500,000 pounds of cheese spread for combat rations in a single year. Desiring to cut weight and volume costs, the Quartermaster Corps Subsistence Research Laboratory and Kraft experimented with cheese dehydration techniques through partnerships with the U.S. Agriculture Department and academic institutions like the University of California, Davis. In 1943, USDA scientist George Sanders created the first cheese powder by grating cheese that was then dried, ground, dehydrated and formed into cakes. When World War II ended in 1945, grocery manufacturers had a lot of leftover dehydrated cheese. Stale-resistant bread. In a 1991 Quartermaster report on rations in Operations Desert Shield and Storm, Chief Warrant Officer 3 Peter Motrink-Suk asserted bread on the battlefield is a must. Yet, it wasn't always possible nor efficient. The military-sponsored invention of an improved active dry yeast during World War II helped, but garrisons across combat zones still had to make the bread after receiving the yeast-filled foil packets you can still buy at grocery stores. The McRib. Meat is the single most expensive food item for the military. In 1918, the Army established its first meat processing plant to debone and box frozen beef. With bones removed, a quarter carcass weighed 25% less and, when boxed, took up 60% less space. However, frozen meat that had been thrown together created an inconsistent mess. Meat boxing and freezing techniques improved over the years, but it wasn't until the 1960s that Army scientists at the Natick Soldier Research, Development and Engineering Center made a palatable and cost-effective fabricated beefsteak. An advisory subcommittee focused on the military's meat products stated, "The future of fabricated modules of meat is excellent." McDonald's certainly saw potential. Its Chicken McNuggets and McRib sandwich, both appearing for the first time in 1981, used the same restructured meat process developed by the military. Frozen orange juice in 1942, to prevent soldiers from suffering a lack of vitamin C, the U.S. Army sought a contractor to create and package frozen orange juice concentrate. Many tried, but it wasn't until 1945 that a team of USDA scientists developed the right process and Florida Foods Corporation secured the manufacturing contract. The Army ordered 500,000 pounds of frozen orange juice concentrate, but the end of World War II that same year meant soldiers wouldn't be the first to enjoy the invention. Florida Foods, which remained intent on being in the frozen orange juice business, changed its name to Vacuum Foods Corporation and pushed its new product as Minute Maid. With the help of a commercial campaign featuring Bing Crosby, the new frozen orange juice product became popular across the country. Energy bars in the late 1930s, the U.S. Army worked with the Hershey Company to create the Logan Bar, a D ration designed for emergency consumption that tasted awful. Even so, about 250 million fortified chocolate bars were shipped overseas between 1941 and 1944. The bar was tweaked, spawning 1943's Tropical Chocolate Bar, which endured for the next several decades. "My God, those chocolate bars were horrible," says Army Sergeant David Halcrow, a Special Forces soldier who served in Vietnam between 1969 and 1981. "They tasted really bitter. They came in a small cardboard box along with my other rations like sugar cookies and pork. We hated those bars, but the little Vietnamese kids loved them." M&Ms. Although M&Ms weren't invented by the military, they were first made specifically for American soldiers. In 1941, food and candy entrepreneur Forrest Mars Sr. partnered with the Hershey Company's Bruce Murray to create bite-sized chocolates encased in candy shells. The new candy got its name from its inventors' last names, Mars and Murray. The confectioner's first customer was none other than the U.S. military, which included the non-melt chocolate candies in soldier rations during World War II. In 1947, after the strict wartime sugar rations ended for the general public, M&Ms was sold to the masses with incredible success, setting the stage to become the icon they are today.